is my weapon of choice. It's my medium of choice. I've been shooting Polaroid for more than 30 years right now, yeah. Kind of hyper as a personality, so I need to do things. I cannot take days or hours to do things. I want to do it pretty quick, and I have these precise ideas that Polaroid helps me capture and do quickly. Polaroid tends to be intimate. You cut out the middleman. There's no lab. There's no one else. Today we're going to be doing a photo shoot for a young group, up-and-coming musicians. There's going to be several different techniques in photography, shooting with different cameras. The main objective is to express movement and color. There's always something you cannot control because there is live chemicals. So basically, you can control the lighting, your framing, your everything, but if your film is too warm, if your film is too hot, if it's expired, everything has a consequence to it. So what I love about Polaroid or shooting with Polaroid is the fact that you have always this chance of a mistake or something that might happen that will go in your favor or against you, but you're not controlling everything. And I like things to, for maybe the cosmos to predict something or help you out or whatever. There's something that's interesting in the fact that you cannot control everything. It's like the moment you're peeling, you're like, oh my God, or the moment you're waiting for it to appear and you're like, oh, look at this. And that magic moment of something that you cannot control, and it's something that's emerging, it's coming in front of you, Le plus important, c'est de garder tout ça pour que ça coince pas dedans. Voilà, donc hop, tu l'as, comme ça. Tu fermes. Et là, tu viens tenir l'appareil et ça, doucement, tu tires. Et là, ça te donne ton petit languette. Et là, ce sera la première languette. Donc, il y a des temps à respecter, de développement. Donc, souvent, ce qu'on fait, c'est on le met là. When I was like about 7 years old, I got a one-step camera, which is back in the days when the first democratic photography camera. It was the first camera in the world that only had one button. So it brought photography to a larger audience, and it was called the one-step, the 1000 here in Europe. Basically, it made it instant photography. So basically you took a picture and you would see it develop in your hand, and a few minutes later you would have the image. So it made it very easy to do images. I was addicted to that since my early age. Polaroid had been around since the 1950s, and with many, many different cameras, really older cameras, different styles of photography. There was peel-apart film in the beginning. Now it's very rare and pretty much impossible to find, or if you do find it, it's very expensive. Back in the beginning of the 70s, Edward Land came up with integral film, which was sandwiched chemical film, so you didn't have to peel anything. It was very expensive in the beginning, and the cameras were very expensive. These cameras have about 300 inventions in them. They made the cheaper copies for the big audience. The camera was plastic, so this is the Lego version of it. So you would press that one button and the film would come out. Cheaper lens, cheaper fabrication. The Polaroid one-step or 1000 was the worldwide most sold camera for about 3 years in a row. Once you get to know lighting in photography in general, you can open yourself up to different ideas. If you can compose and you can cause emotion right away, For years and years, I just shot Polaroid for shooting Polaroid. At best, I would put a colored filter. And I would always have these little colored filters and little 3D glasses and whatever special effects things I would put in front of the lens. So this was kind of fun experimenting. Having the thing in your hand, you're like, wow, I wonder what happens if I go like this, and what's behind this, I've always been curious, so basically it kills some cats, but I've have 9 lives. So the experimental physical part, taking it apart, trying to do one thing and finding out something else. I like the emotion lifts and everything. So the process of getting to this took a couple of years. You know, it took a little bit of maturing, having different directions artistically. Recently, knowing that the film has been reinvented and it's always on this evolutionary sort of steps by step still, it gives me more incentive to experiment quickly. I'm like, okay, this is the film we have this year. What can we do with this? There's different things you can do with different films. And you can start and then just go a little bit really slowly. It'll give you the movement, right? There was this thing called the Impossible Project. Some of the workers from the only factory left open decided to keep the factory open, and they bought the factory and they reinvented the chemicals. The recipe, they do have it. They could make pictures like before, but certain elements of the chemicals are illegal in Europe. So the Impossible Project took it upon themselves to do the impossible, which was to reinvent instant photography. So they went through many tries, and they're still working on it, you know, to get the film quicker, the developing quicker. It's all chemistry pretty much. They even did a book, 101 Ways to Do the Impossible. So this was the first impossible photography book. And 2 of my techniques were in there. The ultra wide, so using 2 images to do like one Polaroid, another Polaroid, trying to find just in the middle so that you can do like a panoramic image. Then another thing is I would do for friends is I would do like the birthday card, using images and doing the letters. So these are little fun things, you know. Impossible became Polaroid. And this is why it's called Impossible. Edward Land, the inventor of Polaroid, said, don't undertake a project unless it is manifestly important and nearly impossible. So this is why it was called the Impossible Project. It kind of says something about the kind of people who are playing with this, you know, that they're really looking for something more than just an image, you know. They're playing around with things, their curiosity, which is important. So I didn't work for Polaroid officially. I worked with them in a way. I kind of got a reputation with them doing my experiments, gotten flown to Vienna. So little by little bit on their radar. When they got a little bit bigger and everything, they used to hire me to do workshops and to do their pop-up stores and this and that. So this relationship was founded, you know, from the Impossible days, and it went on through the developing of Polaroid. And so I don't officially work for them. I work with them and I do things for them. I don't strive for perfectionism. Perfectionism for me would be composition. You know, what you're putting in that square and how it's balanced. That's about as perfect as I want to go. And then the chemical and the camera and the film will do their part of the perfection part. Again, I experiment with things, so I'm learning step by step. I'm getting different feelings and emotions as I'm doing the work also. So I'm not really thinking about what the other people will feel. After we do the shoot, we need to scan these, because since these are physical, they don't exist on any internet or anything like that. And if you want to share them, well, you need to scan them, put them on your computer so you can work on them a little bit more. Being an immigrant in a country is so much richer than actually living in the country you've been born in, because you have to, your parents have a struggle, you have a struggle. There's all sorts of things that are at home are different from outside. And all this thing creates character, and it creates like a backpack of information that you have an advantage over the person that's always lived in their comfort zone. I think it's always very rich to reinvent yourself, you know, it's to like question yourself, and, you know, those are the things that help you improve things, you know.